So Midas has been a game changer for me, a complete game changer. It has transformed me as a person. Even if you fail, you should know where to cut off. That is the actual sense of where your entrepreneurship comes in the way. Before you waste too much money, before you waste way too much time, cut off from there.
What keeps you going?
Just the passion to do what you're doing that keeps you going. Like, I fall in love with what I do, and I think that is very important. Like, that is a major factor which keeps the energy going. No bigger teacher than travel. Like, travel is what has been one of the main reasons of the person I am today. Whatever age you are, you don't stop learning. You evolve every day as a person, and if I say, okay, I know it all, that's the end for me.
Welcome to Midas School of Entrepreneurship, our podcast, Insights with Midas. Today we have Divyang Shroff, of course, our alumni, a very dear student, but more than anything else, he's just 30 and already gone through so much experience of running 4 businesses. It's going to be a very interesting conversation to see Divyang from a student to a founder of 4 different companies today. And the learnings, the experiences of a young entrepreneur in the realities of the world today is a very interesting thing to do. I hope you enjoy today's podcast, and we can't wait to see what unfolds. So, Divyang, you're coming as a alumni at Midas, and we're so thrilled to have you. One of the proudest moments is to host this podcast with you, because I've seen you grow into such a amazing, very intelligent and innovative entrepreneur. What I would like to really ask you today is that from the time you left, I mean, you're just about 30, and you've already had 4 businesses, up your shoulder. How has this journey been? And the last venture, which has been, Beyond Brilliance Consultancy, can you tell us more about this and how you got to this idea as well?
So, it's been 8-9 years since Midas happened, and I've been raised in a business family. I'd seen my grandfather, I'd seen my father, I'd seen my mother. All of them have been entrepreneurs themselves, and I think it just came naturally to me to venture into entrepreneurship. And then Midas happened, where I learned a lot more, which shaped me into a better entrepreneur, which gave me a reality check on how things are done. And that is how it started for me. And after that, BBC started, which is my 4th venture. And that actually started over a casual interaction with a friend in my office, where I've always helped people plan their weddings, help people plan events, help them with shoot ideas and stuff. So he's like, dude, your personality is such that you should be in a profession which is more people oriented. And we were just brainstorming ideas, and he's like, you're anyways doing this to help people, why don't you make this a profession? And that's how BBC was born. And it's been just over a year since BBC was born, and I don't think I've looked back, and just going upwards and onwards, touch wood for that. And yeah, that's...
What was the experience like? Because it might have been tough to sort of get into this industry, because it's not something you've been a part of.
Right.
What was it like to get your first customer? I mean, is there a journey or a story to getting your first customer?
My first event was one high-profile event in Surat. It was a huge wedding where I had to take Ananya Pandey, Janvi Kapoor. Should I name them or should I not name them?
You can.
Yeah, name them.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Tag them also.
You got them, no?
No, I mean, it shouldn't be a conflict or
But
something.
you got them.
Yeah. My first event was a high-profile wedding pre-wedding rather, in Surat. And it was something which was next level. They wanted Ananya and Janvi to perform at the wedding. They wanted Diya Mirza and Apar Shakti to anchor, and Amit Trivedi to sing. So these are the artists I had taken for the event, and it was challenging, of course, being my first event, getting in touch with them, to locking deals, to having them there and then managing them there. It was all a challenge, but behind the scenes, it was a major challenge, but the client had no idea what was going on behind. So he just had a great time. He had some amazing memories ahead, but there were a lot of shade thrown on the sets and stuff like that. So there were challenges, but then it eventually worked out smoother and just went perfect. So that was my first event.
So did you start with a team, or were you, so how did you, did you start with a team?
So I started off alone.
Right.
And
So you did this first event alone?
I did absolutely alone. I had, of course, my family and some close friends are my support system, who've always been there through thick and thin for me. So that's always been there, and I've been fortunate for that. But if you go to see just event perspective, I was pretty much alone and handling it all. And of course, then there were other people on set with me who were managing things and stuff, who I had to just give instructions to, and things were moving on that way.
Sure, sure.
So how is it different in terms of, say, SD Puran is a 58-year-old company that belongs to your grandfather, you're a part of the family business. Every client that comes has probably been, there's been a relationship that you built. And how is it different from the influential marketing that happens today, that's happening on social media? How is it different?
Oh, both are poles apart. So if you ask me, BBC is more fast-paced, quick decisions and all about creativity, while SD Puran is all about goodwill, long-term goals, more technical and all of that. So if you go to see, both are poles apart. So at times it does get a little challenging managing both switching on, switching off from both of them. But there are days when I am completely involved in the family business, and there are some multiple days where I'm completely involved in BBC, because at times managing both in the same day gets difficult. There are days when I am on a set, I am managing an event, or I am in a client meeting for BBC, and the next day probably I'm at my factory, or I am facing a client, answering calls, doing sales and stuff like that. So it is challenging. Both worlds are completely different, but I enjoy that. I think that challenges me, and as you know, I always have loved taking up challenges, as it's just something that fuels me.
Do you think multitasking is something that you must have as a character that really helps you grow as a person also?
So for me, multitasking is something I always need, because I'm a little hyper in general, but there are people who do just one thing, and they can't do a lot of things. So everyone has their own personality, and for me, I feel multitasking is a mandate.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so can you share a very impactful time that you've had at Midas? Because, when I see and hear you today, I feel that there's so much growth, Divyang, and I think going through the process of right from you starting Sputinder to the India grooming company that you did, that was a complete online business that you had. Then you, of course, were taking care of SD Puran, and I, as someone who's a part of watching your journey, I also knew how much your family wanted you to be in the family business.
Right.
And you were doing all of this on the side as well. So how has that experience for you? We would love to hear the Midas experience.
So Midas has been a game changer for me, a complete game changer. It has transformed me as a person, and I was very carefree, very chilled before, but and I honestly didn't want to come to Midas initially. I had my admission secured in London, and I was very set on going there. But then
Nottingham University.
Nottingham University with a scholarship out there. So I wanted to go there and just party for a year and come back and get into business. But then I had my cousin, I had another friend who'd been through Midas, and they kept telling my dad, I think you should go visit this place once. And I was just no, I'm not wasting my time. And then finally I gave in. I was okay, let's go, let's waste a day, let's go meet, make you happy, come back, and then I'll still fly to London. I came here and that evening my decision changed. I was like, I think this is the place to be. And it was more like it's all practical learning. It's nothing that is in theory. You don't really have exams here. You don't really have to ratta maro things and puke it out in the papers and things like that. It's all presentations. It's all practical learning. Like you're on the floor for things and things like that. So I think that I enjoyed, and that is what the real world is like. So my 3 major learnings from Midas would be execution over ideas. Just ideas never work. You need to be an executor. You need to know how to execute things to set your ideas in reality. Otherwise, things fail. Second would be critical thinking and self-awareness. Critical thinking was done by Parag sir, and I think it was one of the most important lesson, most important module that I have learned, as that has been a game changer for me personally. I was always super impulsive. Chalo, abhi ye karna hai to I'll just get it done. Now I analyze things like, okay, I'm still a fast decision maker, but behind the scenes I'm always like, okay, I quickly analyze things and then take a decision. Before it was never analyzed, just take baad mein jo hoga dekh lenge. So that and self-awareness I learned from Transcend, which was a blessing and a curse because I hate knowing myself so much. And of course, those 2-3 days were a little tough on campus for all of us, is you get to know yourself in ways which you don't want to know. And but of course, long term, when you see that, it really helps you grow as a person. You go within yourself, you know yourself, how you react to things, how you deal with things, and somewhere down the line that is essential to get out that side out. And the third thing for me, which was a game changer, was challenging yourself in things, which gave me a lot of confidence. Like the 500 rupee challenge that we had. We were given $500 and given a few hours. Ye 500 rupees se jo karna bhi, whoever gets maximum out of 500, they come and they win. So it was unbelievable how from 500 all of us got 3,000, 7,000, 8,000 bucks and stuff. So that shows you like, okay, doing jugaad things really works, and that is how you really grow. And the second thing which stayed with me till today was the boot camp. Oh my God, that was one unbelievable experience which challenged us. From here to Mulshi we had to go just by taking lifts. No money, no phone, no GPay, PPay, anything. So it was just thrown away, taken everything, thrown away on the road. Reach Mulshi from here. And we had to take lifts, and it wasn't like we could just take एक जन को पकड़ा के इधर से मुल्शी छोड़ो. Every few kilometers we had to change the ride. Be it walking, be it truck. So we've sat in trucks, we sat in rickshaw. There were, I still remember, 2 guys going for an exam, and we begged them, boss, you will reach 15 minutes late, but we have to go far away. Just take a U-turn, drop us, and then go. And those literally guys, those helped us out. So those are the things that makes you realize that, okay, whatever you're doing, subconsciously you're gaining confidence in yourself. And Midas, we used to work 16 hours a day. 16, 17 hours a day. There were times when we worked, and I don't think I've ever worked that much. I may have partied for those many hours, but if you ask me, I'd worked for those many hours, never. So after that, even if a day is 16, 18 hours long, I'm never scared because I know, okay, karna hai, it'll get done.
So your decision not going to UK was a good one.
Yeah.
Because I still remember having that conversation, Divyang, I have studied in Nottingham, you don't need to go there.
I remember she telling me I've studied in Nottingham. I remember Darshan telling me ke if so, Parag sir's words to me, party karni hai, Nottingham chale ja, life badalni hai, Midas aaja. Like he just, before I left Midas on the first day that I'd come with my father, these are the words he told me, and throughout the return journey I was just pondering over these, like how can someone just tell me, party karni hai, nikal ja. And baki idhar rahe, and I was just like, wow.
One of the other things that I remember during your journey at Midas was Putinder.
Right.
So how did that change your mindset? That was your startup that you wanted to start, and you worked very hard during the Midas journey on it.
So Spotinder was my first brushing at entrepreneurship and my first failure as well. So I started Spotinder in the incubation phase of Midas, and it was going well. I had I'd found an app. So okay, Spotinder to start with what does the word give you? What was the app like?
Sport का Tinder.
That's right. So it was Tinder for sports, and it came up. The idea was also one of the bug list items where I was bored one of the Sundays, everyone was working on an assignment and I really wanted to play some sport and no one was ready. So that day, just to write it, I wrote a bug. I wish I had an app where I could connect with close by people to play sports. And that's how Sportinder was born. But one of the biggest learnings is also from this chapter of my life where execution beats ideation. Idea was fantastic, probably ahead of its time, because in today's time there are a lot of such apps which are in the market, and this I'm talking about is 9 years back when I'd come up with this idea. I had started working on the app. Execution wasn't the best. I didn't find the best app developers to work on the idea. My vision didn't match with them. The timelines didn't go as planned. There was a delay of probably a year in the app. And after a point, I was just like, okay, this is not working out. I've pumped in enough money in this. I've wasted too much time. I wouldn't call it wasted time. It was all learnings. But it was a lot of time spent to the idea, to the app, working on that. I'd given it my complete self. Like, I don't think I was doing anything but focusing on Sportinder in those days, and I'd probably married that idea. Like, and Parag sir always says that you never marry an idea. Like, you never marry your idea or your business, you get blinded by it. And I probably was blinded by it, but then one fine day, sense prevailed in me, and I just decided to cut it off out there, because even if you fail, you should know where to cut off. That is the actual sense of where your entrepreneurship comes in the way. Before you waste too much money, before you waste way too much time, cut off from there, pivot or move on to another thing, and you're happy, the business is happy, everything is in place then.
Amazing, amazing.
And in all of this, how has your relationship with your father been? Because it's very important that there is a startup that you're trying to create,
Right.
and then there is something that your father has built over years with the family.
Right.
And how have you managed this and the relationship and the entire growth of SD Puran as well?
So, by God's grace, I've been blessed with a very, very, very supporting family who have kept me ahead of everything for them. Dad is the only guy managing the business, and I know how much he required me back then, how much he requires me today. But my goals, my vision, everything, he puts me ahead. Like, he's like, okay, you focus on your work, give me some time for the work and all, but he gives me the lead. Like, okay, you do things your way, you handle your business first. And it has just been fabulous. Like, I've just been blessed with the family I have, like my mother, my father, my sister. We've been a core group ever since childhood. Like, there's been no conversation that four of us can't have, be it any problems in life, relationship issues, business issues, anything. They've always been hands-on, they've been always supportive, and business-wise, they've always been super pushing to me towards helping me grow. Like, you know that during Sportinder, my father wasn't that keen on me going ahead with Sportinder, because that is when he really needed me in the business. But then one fine day I sat him down, I spoke to him, and then he understood like how crazy and passionate I was behind that idea. And then he's like, okay, fine, take your time, manage it. And even today, after Sportinder, I have done 1, 2, 3, fourth idea going on right now, and he's still super encouraging. Like, we operate from the same office, but there are days when he'll call me up and he'll tell me, now can you come to my cabin, can we just discuss a few things? And I'll be like, Dad, give me half an hour, I need to just finish this. And he never tells me anything. So at times, I myself feel bad, like, am I misusing that? Am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? But then I think I try balancing both, which of course, balancing is not the best. Like, balancing in real life is difficult with multiple business ventures, because you don't exactly, like, I can't be like, okay, I'm going to give 4 hours to this, 4 hours to that. It doesn't work that way. Like, there are days when I give 3 days to my business and probably a couple of hours to the family business. And there are days when 3-4 days I'm behind that, and at night then I'll sit and focus on my business also. Like, I'll cut down on my sleep. But just work on the ideas, work on the planned deliverables, planning, scripting, and all of that. So they've been super encouraging and super support system. I'm blessed with
So,
them.
you know, Divyang, why I asked you this question also was that there are a lot of family businesses out there, and, you know, almost the second, the third generation are entering the business.
Right.
What I have, you know, especially seeing your family, I've learned that communication plays a very, very important role.
Right.
Has that been a factor that has helped, that right from childhood they've encouraged you to communicate, to talk, and has been easier for you to sort of maneuver work with them?
I think so. That is the case because communication is the key to any relationship. Like, if you don't talk, you don't let the other person know how you feel, what you feel. So, when you talk, you're opening your, like, of course, it is a little vulnerable space, which I think, not being sexist here, but men find it difficult to express themselves. And I go through the same thing. Like, I've had certain setbacks in my life, and there have been days when I just can't communicate the basic needs at times. But over time, I have started getting into the practice of, okay, it is okay to get weak, it is okay to communicate, it is okay to express yourself, because maximum what can you get is a no. Is there anything worse that can happen? Nothing. And if I don't try, it is anyways a no, and still plays in my mind, right? So rather just express, worst case get a no and move on in life, or express, get things what you want and be happy and move on in life.
So as a son, you've really sort of been there in terms of communication. Why I wanted to ask you this is because a lot of times these relationships end up becoming very toxic for even the father, even the
Right.
son. And I don't see that in between, you know, both of you ever. Your mom obviously plays a great role in sort of making sure that both are heard. Your sister is usually the referee that, you know, everyone calm down. So I think as a unit, this family business did well because of communication, and I would, you know, tell each of you also to use it as a weapon rather than getting scared of not saying things.
Mom has been a backbone of the family
Absolutely.
in communication. Like, there are, of course, things which I can't go up front and tell dad. So I'll always nicely go slide it to mom, and mom manages things out for me. And my sister stays in America, so she just got married out there a couple of years back, but she's always a call away. And if I can't tell something to mom, I'll tell my sister, who then talks to my mom. So it's just been a good circle that we have. Like, we four make a good team together.
Absolutely, and the most fun reels that you all make together as well. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, you getting into the space of men's grooming, and where did this idea come from? Why did you want to get into it? And what sort of encouraged you to be a part of that space as well?
So men's grooming, I started with a brand during COVID, we had nothing better to do. So a friend of mine had actually started India Grooming Club, and he had asked me if I wanted to be the co-founder of it. So it was COVID times, I had ample of empty time with me. So I was like, sure, I'm game for that. I did my basic market research and stuff.
Why did you get into it? Why did you love the concept itself?
I myself have been big into the grooming space. Like, I love my scents that I use. I love using face packs, using particular face washes and all of that. So I am big into the grooming itself. So that is one liking I had for the industry itself, and I know how much potential the industry has, because now is when people are figuring, okay, for men this is also there, for men this is also there, and everything's getting open. Like, grooming space for men is a huge market in India and world over. And so that happened this way. Like, it happened again. It was just a friend approaching me and me getting game into that during COVID, and it was a beautiful industry to be in. We managed it for say 2 to 3 years before we sold the company. So it was a good
it was
space.
an online business.
It was just online. We were selling on Amazon, Flipkart, a couple of, no, Myntra wasn't there back then.
But to be honest, all the products were great.
Thank you.
Divyang, I mean, still there is, I think it was an orange orange face pack or scrub?
Or a face pack, face wash.
Face wash. It had very nice fragrance, and it was one thing that I think everyone really liked.
My personal favorite product was that, and so we were very clear on what ingredients we wanted, how things can affect the human body, how things can get better with it. So there are a lot of government norms also which you of course have to follow. So playing with those and finding loopholes and managing things, we came up with our products, and I think it was a beautiful idea and a beautiful space that we enjoyed being in. Like how I want a soap to smell, how I want a soap to get its fragrance rather. Let's not use the word smell. And things like that. So
Divyang, I'm going to jump to another topic altogether. Something probably that I have not discussed with you for a very long time.
okay.
I still remember that your passion was sports. And how important has that been in your life? Because what does sports play as a role in your life? That passion.
Sports is one of the biggest motivators in my life. Like I need sports in day-to-day life, be it my workouts, be it sports, paddle, cricket, table tennis, squash, golf, whatever it is. I need my sports. That's what drives me day to day, because I think in general I'm a very energetic person and I need a release. So when I'm stressed, when I am very worked up, be it whatever reason, I need to either go work out, need to go play my sports and things like that. And it is always good to have some activity which you love doing, however stressed you are.
Think that you'll ever be in the industry of sports eventually, someday, do something that would give back to sports or be a part of that industry?
Let's hope someday I get back in the sports industry. Never say never.
Never say never. But I know how crazy you are about it, and that's why you married the idea.
Yeah.
Right? And I genuinely felt that there was that madness in you that I've never seen. You know, that 16 hours of Sputinder that was, you know, you were sleeping, eating, drinking, all of it. So
I think it's all my business ideas I marry. Yeah. I think right now, if you ask me, I work 16, 18 hours a day. Next morning, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I am back to it.
What keeps you going?
It's just the passion to do what you're doing. Just the passion to do what you're doing is that keeps you going. Like, I fall in love with what I do, and I think that is very important. Like, that is a major factor which keeps the energy going. Like, of course, there are days which are low days for me, but the ideas just show up.
Yeah.
You will manage it.
Yeah. I get amazed with the amount of energy you have. Like, you'll suddenly, you know, be in a wedding, then you'll suddenly be shooting somewhere, then you're suddenly in Bombay, then you're suddenly traveling to the US. So, I sometimes, where does this boy get this energy from? And every morning getting up and, you know, being there for yourself is something that I genuinely admire. And does all of this add more value to your life? That energy that you're constantly wanting to show up.
I think it does add a lot of value to my life, because I know I have something to look forward to.
Yes.
Like, okay, however exhausted I am when I'm going off to sleep, I know tomorrow I'm doing this, I'm excited to do that. I know I have to wake up, I have to do my 20-minute run or my entire workout and then go to my work. And at work I'm doing ABC. So I exactly know what I'm doing when I'm doing. And of course there are days when I don't plan things also. Like, you need some downtime also at work. So it just works out that way. Like, too much planning at times is also a problem, but when I plan, I exactly know how to split my time with things. Like, there have been days when, just recently, probably a month back, I had a flight to catch to go for an event I was doing in Ahmedabad. The flight was at 3 o'clock, so I had to be at the airport at 1:30. And a client called me up saying, I want to do a shoot that day itself. And I was like, I am flying. He's like, do whatever, I need to finish the shoot. I told him, fine. 6:30 a.m., keep the call time, let's wrap up the shoot. And from the shoot, I'll straight fly to the airport. Straight fly to Ahmedabad. And I slept at 2-3 a.m. because I was at another shoot that I was doing a night before. Slept at 3 a.m., woke up at 5:45, 6, reach the set by 6:30, finish the shoot by 1ish, reach the airport right in time so I can catch the flight.
So it's adrenal for you. You
Yeah,
just want to keep running around.
So again, at times I feel it burns me out also some days, but that's how I take my holidays.
Yeah, you do. So travel is a huge part of your life.
100%. Like, no bigger teacher than travel. Like, travel is what has been one of the main reasons of the person I am today. I love going to places, and I just don't go visit a place. I'll go spend time at that place, explore the place, which most people don't do it that way. Like, I'll go in the hidden lanes out there. I'll talk to random strangers out there. Even if it's an Uber driver, I'll talk to him. I'll understand what he does. How does their country work? How are the people who come there behave, talk? I'll eat the local food. I'll of course go party. You meet other people. You just explore, and it opens a different world. Like, at times you just get to know how privileged you are, and we cry about our problems. But when you see other people's problems, you're just like, oh my God, and I was crying about this. So it just teaches you a lot as a person, and it opens your eyes.
Amazing. So tell us about your first scuba diving experience. Yeah.
Okay,
With such a hectic and high on action life, what was your first scuba dive like? What did you feel?
Just, it's a different world underwater. Like,
Where was this?
I think my first dive was in Bali.
Okay.
That was maybe 2016 when I was at Midas, and I told them I have a family thing to attend. And I went to Bali for a week with my family. We take an annual break during that period. So I went out there and I did my first dive.
This was
Just-
the certification dive.
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
This is beautiful. It was just the life underwater is so different. Like, you just feel you're in a different world altogether. Colorful fishes, big fishes, small fishes, and in movies we see sharks, we see whales, and we get scared like, oh, they'll be attacking. You won't believe it. You swim next to them, they won't even come towards you. They are not, unless you do something to them, or you're probably, they feel scared of you, is when they'll attack you. Otherwise, however close you are to them, they are doing their own shit, you're doing your own thing. So it's just a different world altogether down there.
What was the last adventure that you really enjoyed?
The last adventure,
'Cause I know you just randomly pick up your sack and leave, and you're like,
Yeah.
let me travel. So where was it, and how was it for you?
my last adventure. I just can't recollect what I did last like that, but
Time to do it.
yeah, I am. Honestly, I'm done with the Bombay heat, so I am planning a trip to just fly down to Europe sometime in the near future to stay away from the heat for a few days and just explore the place. But the last real adventure I did was probably go backpacking to Himachal. Like, that is one of my favorite places to backpack. Book a flight to Chandigarh. No other plans out there. Reach Chandigarh, go to whichever place you want, spend as many days like the locals do, eat the local cuisine, talk to the local people, ask them, okay, I don't want to go to touristy places. Tell me, what do you guys do for fun here? Where do you guys go walking? Where do you guys go do your things? And there are a lot of times when they'll just take you to places which are beautiful, which are unbelievable. Like, it'll just be so much more fun than the touristy places that you can visit.
So right now at SD Puran, what are you handling? And what sort of a role are you taking care of?
So at SD Puran Machines, which is the family business, I am mainly handling the sales and the marketing bit of it. And it is a long journey of the business. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can. Not coming from a technical background, and managing the machines at times gets a little tricky for me. But I am trying to be on the floor with the staff, with dad, and trying to understand as much. And it's not just this. Along with this, there are multiple aspects. Like, one machine of ours has 800 parts in it. So knowing all the names itself is a challenge, if you ask me. But it is the holistic picture that I need to look at, since there are no partners or nothing. So
No, and you're also the legal heir of the business.
Yeah, exactly. So
and it's a 54-year-old business.
correct. So till now I was just handling the marketing bit, sales bit, and the labor bit. But now I'm getting into the holistic approach of it, from finances, which I try running away from the production, the management of every small things, every detailing, I'm trying to get into.
What part of business do you enjoy the most? Whether family business or your startup?
Customer facing, meeting new people, talking to people, and you find all sorts of people and interesting people. Like there are some people who you will just enjoy talking to also, because you get to learn so much from them. Like I've learned this from my parents that okay, whatever age you are, you don't stop learning. You evolve every day as a person. And if I say, okay, I know it all, that's the end for me. So when I am talking to someone, I have a habit of talking a little extra, but then now intentionally I try gauging more from them so I can learn about the market, about the industries, about what's going on in the world. Because every bit teaches you something or the other, which always helps you.
How have you dealt with your failures, Divyang?
So Sportender honestly was my first failure. It was a very tough one on me. Like it was probably worse than some of my breakups in life that back then. And
I agree with you. Breakups are easier.
but I had a good, strong family to support me through it, and I was not rushed into other things. I was not pressurized on for things, which I think helped me a lot. They gave me my time to embrace the failure, and they always told me, okay, you've lost money here, it's okay. You spent that much to gain so much learning from it. Yeah. So that was a positive that I took from Sportender. Okay, I've lost money, I've lost time, I've lost all my efforts, blood, sweat, everything in that. But there was so much learning in that. Like my biggest learning was execution is the key, not just the idea.
Sure. Yeah. So what got you out of it? Like, do you remember a particular, like how to like quickly get, is there a way?
No, I don't think there's a quick way to get, there's no hack to get out of a failed business, I feel, but time is the only healer, I feel, and the activities that you do. So as I mentioned, my family was supportive, they let me go probably travel that time, they helped me get my own time in things I enjoyed doing. They didn't pressurize me, okay, kal se office pe jana hai, ye time pe, and you have to get these things going because now this is short. So I think all that holistically just helps you move on and embrace what's coming next.
And what's your process of decision making through all of this?
I've always been a quick decision maker. I follow my gut a lot. But after critical thinking and all of that, I've started mixing my gut with a little bit of analysis. Like, I still believe you gotta be quick at making decisions. When time flies by, your things may change. You don't want to sit and regret something later. Okay, worst case, I may fail at something. It's better than thinking, okay, I wish I could have done this. So I feel I like my approach to it, which is following my instincts with a little bit of analysis.
So do you think your gut gets trained and gets better every time, or like have you?
I think with experience, you start calculating things faster and better, which helps your gut. Like this is your inner AI system.
Right.
Like, okay, AI is a human developed thing, but your gut is your actual AI, right? Because last 30 years, I'm 30, so last 30 years, my gut knows what I'm doing, when I'm doing better than probably I know it myself. So there is a memory within also which helps you approach things in a different way. Like they say muscle memory to do things. It is probably that, which just gets better with time.
You believe gut can be trained, right?
Yeah, probably. Gut with experience will definitely train itself. And in fact, my dad and I make a good team because I'm an impulsive guy who backs it with a little bit of analysis, and he likes to do entire analysis and then gets his gut in. So probably both of us together make it a good team together.
That's awesome. And just before we, sort of wrap it up from me and Rahul, and give it to the students to also interact and ask you questions. What has been the toughest time that you've gone through as an entrepreneur? If you'd like to share with us.
My toughest time as an entrepreneur, the most challenging time for me would be a couple of things actually. Like, there have been bits and pieces. I wouldn't just say, okay, ABC was tough or ABC was not tough. There have been tough days, there have been tough moments, so probably I'll give you a couple of those. So one of the toughest challenges for me as an entrepreneur was shutting down Sportinder. I didn't know where to exactly cut it off.
Yeah.
So it's always one of the learnings out there for me was it's better to cut it off or pivot at the right time rather than just dragging it and letting it fade away.
Sure.
So that was one which I overcame by analyzing things. The second was probably when I started BBC, getting customers. So there are two things in this. Number one, credibility comes in the way. Okay, you've done 1, 2, 3 events, but the other players in the market are 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 years old. What are you bringing different than those guys? So I have a very simple funda in life, which I don't look at my competition in a way that, okay, he's trying to take the market share or I'm trying to take a market share. The market share is humongous. It's a huge ocean where, okay, you'll get your bit, I'll get my bit. I look at my clients in a way that what else do I bring on the table is I'm probably at BBC, I'm at an intersection of creativity, execution, and probably the network of people.
Yeah.
So I know what different I am bringing. I'm bringing a balance of two things for people out here is getting creativity along with execution. In the market, there are people who are excellent at creativity, and there are certain section of people who are excellent at operations. But I think I am getting the best of both worlds in mixing both on the table, which makes me different because I again don't look at my client in a way that you're my client. I won't look at you saying, "Chalo, ek baar hi kaam karna hai na." I'll always try making you a long-term contact rather than just one time, because relationships over contacts makes a hell lot of difference in your approach to work, because as you grow with time, you'll start building trust with me, which goes a lot more than what it would have otherwise.
So basically you're saying don't like just network, build relationships.
Yeah, just having, okay, I know A, B, C, D, E, F people. Okay, on paper I know them. If I call them, are they going to pick up my call? No. But when I say these are my relations I've built with these people, even if it's the most urgent time in my life, I know if I call them up, they will stand by me. If my business is running through a tough time, I know they will back me, they will support me. Like today I have clients who probably don't even ask me details. They're like, you've been working with us for over a year. You treat this as your brand. I trust you that much. Like, you are more like an extended family for me to handle this brand, which is mine, but you are handling it like it's yours. So that's the trust I like building, and it doesn't happen easily. Like, you have to put in a lot of efforts for that, but I think it's worth it at the end of it.
So basically you've learned the art of really handling people well, building relationships. I mean, you've learned it obviously through the process of liking a few, not liking a few.
Right.
But, you know, I've also realized that a lot of people don't want to invest in building relationships.
See, of course, there are people who are just product oriented. Yeah. But again, every business is different is what I feel. There may be some things which may flourish just being a product in itself. But there are some fields where clients play the most important part. More than your bit, it's the client who needs trust in you, which goes a long way.
I think any core of the business would be people trusting you.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's a product or service,
Correct.
whatever you're doing, if they don't trust you, Dhanda is not happening.
Correct.
That's how it is. So
Correct.
I think it's a beautiful way to put it, that you build relationships and not just, contacts that everyone would have.
Right.
So,
And when I'd say why I am different from what others who are doing in a similar space is because today's time people don't just want connects with vendors and stuff like that. They want someone who leads the business in a way that you are the producer, you are the creative director, or you are a business owner. And I think I bring that to the table, which is what they help in understanding more about my brand and me, and I go that way. Also, I don't just believe in scaling like crazy. Like, okay, I want my limited number of clients. Why? Because I know I am a pretty particular person in a way that the way I handle things. If I am handling things myself, I'd want my team to handle it the exact same way. Like, I know I bring excellence to the table, but if I get my team to handle it, I need the same level of excellence coming in, which at times scares me also. Because when you have so much attention to detail and you want to scale, you're just worried, okay, when I have 50 clients, will I be able to bring the same thing on the table that I am myself getting in, or how will you manage it? But then at times you do have to scale, so you have to probably start setting processes, make your SOPs, make processes which will help your team to understand your exact vision and be on the same page as you.
all right. So, Divyang, it was a phenomenal session. And of course, we have a few more questions coming from the audience. But before that, I want to do a quick Midas, rapid fire session with you and make it as rapid as you can. So, describe yourself in 3 words.
Driven, resourceful, fun.
Tea or coffee?
Neither. Water and adrenaline.
Top 3 grooming essentials.
Face wash, perfumes, face pack.
Morning or night person?
Night.
If you could have dinner with any 3 people, who would they be? Living or dead?
Steve Jobs for the vision that he has. Mukesh Ambani for the way he's built the empire. And third one would be, thinking who, like Narendra Modi for the leadership skills.
Lovely. Favorite travel destination?
Europe.
Go to stress relief activity?
Sports and workouts.
Favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
If your entrepreneurial journey had a theme song, what would it be?
Believer by Imagine Dragons.
Nice. Favorite book?
One is Phil Knight's The Shoe Dog, which is the story of Nike, and the other one is Life's Amazing Secrets by Gaur Gopal Das.
Nice. One thing you can't live without?
My phone, everything runs through it.
What's a skill you'd like to learn?
Meditation, be calm at times.
Motto you live by?
Live and let live.
Movie, the best movie that...
Ye Jawani Ye Diwani and Pursuit of Happiness.
Best advice you received?
Learn to say no.
If not an entrepreneur, what would you be?
Probably a lawyer.
Really?
I always wanted to do criminal law, but I was told, if you want to get into law, do corporate law. I'm like, that's not worth spending so much reading in.
Okay. Favorite app?
Spotify. I love my music. It changes my mood and I need my music going every time, wherever I am.
I agree. Midas, in one word for you?
Transformative.
Guilty pleasure?
Shopping.
Next on your bucket list?
Publishing a book.
One person whose leadership you admire?
Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Amazing. Can we have a round of applause for him?
Hello. What's the best business advice you have received so far?
The best business advice I've received so far is boiling down to one is a little difficult, so I'll give you a couple of them. One definitely is learn to say no. If you say yes to everything, people start taking advantage of you. People will walk over you in the long run. And probably the second one will be just show up every day. Like however tired, exhausted you are, just show up every day. Things happen.
As you have multiple businesses, though, how you manage your time with your family?
So that's been a little challenging for me, to be honest. Like, say today I am doing my family business. Kabits, I am probably in Surat with a client closing a deal or something. And tomorrow I am on set or at an event for BBC managing that. So there are days which do get taxing for me, which do get a little difficult for me. But time somehow works out. There's no, I wouldn't say like you can get a perfect balance in life. Like it is a fluid journey and you have to just go as per how each day pans out.
So I said, what is something someone told you that has stuck with you till this date? It can be like a quote or a life lesson or just something you live by.
So this was probably a lot that I've read, I have heard, and it is enjoy the journey, don't just focus on the destination. You would have probably heard this a lot of times from MS Dhoni, from a lot of other people also. But I really abide by this thing because if you aren't enjoying the journey, then what are you doing things for? And every destination, like once you reach the destination, it's the end. If you've not enjoyed the journey, you aren't really going to enjoy the destination as well.
Right. How do you stay motivated in your tough days?
I stay motivated on my tough days also by just probably doing things I enjoy doing, like starting my day with a quick run, starting listening to music, and just doing things that I enjoy doing.
But there will be some days na, like in such a big journey when you feel depressed or you are not into like I don't want to work more right now in this thing, I need a break. What do you do at
Bags pack karo, chutti pe nikal jao. No, but honestly, I do that also at times. But otherwise, staying, even when you're having a tough time, just by running away, nothing happens. Show up day in, day out, do your bit, feel the burn, feel you're burnt out. But at the end of it, you have your family backing you, you have your close friends backing you. That just makes you feel good. Play some sport, get your adrenaline high, automatically your mental stress goes down.
So I wanted to ask, like, what is one learning or experience you have from each of the startups you have done?
Okay, nice one. So from Sportender, I would say it is execution is the key. Just having ideas is bullshit. From India Grooming Club, I would say know when to exit things. When you feel it's becoming a major red ocean, know when to cut off, know when to exit. From my family business, it is how to continue the way your family has brought up the business, sticking to your values, staying grounded, and keeping the same fundamentals that my grandfather and my father have had, because it's not born over just a couple of years. It's now, say, a 54-year-old business. Just by me waking up and saying, nahi, abhi ye process, ye aise nahi karte, I'll mess up the business. They've thought through and set the processes right. And from Beyond Brilliance Consultants, I'd say is every client is different. Be patient, be calm, listen to them, and act as you are an extended family member to them and not just a vendor to them.
Got it. Thank you.
So I'm also from a textile background only. So I just wanted to ask the question around the SD Puran, your company. So how did you guys, what are you guys doing right that you capture 70% market share?
So we manufacture machines that make slitting and winding machines or metallic yarn ka. So it's a very, very, very precision-oriented work. A lot of companies have tried replicating that, but they've failed. So grandfather was one of the pioneers to start this machine and business. From there, it's mainly us and another Korean brand in the world doing this. So it is probably just early starters, early adapters, which has kept us going, and then we've maintained that goodwill and worked on the base principles that grandfather has started, father has expanded, and I'm trying to fill those big shoes in.
Hi. How do you handle the transitions between both the businesses? Like, they are completely different now, by the way.
Right.
Yes.
So you rightly mentioned they're both different. One is creative and fast paced, the other is technical, long term driven, and that way. So both are poles apart. I operate from the same office. Okay. So I need to completely be always on my toes and switch off, switch on, switch off, switch on through things. Yes. And you have to be just super active and super attentive in where you are at that moment to be there present completely.
Thank you.
Hi. So I have a question. What's the one word you would like to, say for your entrepreneurial journey right now? Like one word you have to give.
Evolving. I think every day I'm just evolving into a better person, into a better entrepreneur, and that's how I'd describe my journey yet.
Thank you. Yeah, so you clearly have multiple interests. So when you started out with Sportinder, like I see that there is a lot of history that is panning out into your career choices. Like you started out with the fashion thing somewhere before Midas, and now you're like into the event managing thing and making ad campaigns. So I see some sort of congruence in those terms.
Right.
So I really want to know, how do you kind of pan into these as careers? Because I feel like I also have few similar interests, but like I have no way of seeing how they match up.
So as I mentioned in the start, I think it's something that probably in casual discussions and things that I've come across a lot of these businesses. Like Sportinder was just because of a stupid bug idea that I just written to write it that day. IGC happened because of COVID. I had a lot of free time. Family business is family business. I haven't done anything much out there. And this started over a casual conversation over a cup of coffee. But I think it's again the personality that comes in the way, right? Like I know my personality. A couple of my close ones know my personality. So when you're brainstorming, when you're just discussing things, you keep talking in that sense, you keep wanting to upgrade. So when you're discussing ideas, when you're discussing just different things, you want to, okay, there are two things when you discuss with your friends. One set of friends you have just to discuss your dirtiest and the crappiest things that you've done and what you want to do. Like that's your comfort zone. But then there are some friends which bring out the intellect level in you, which you need to just have a drive in life and get better always. So probably it's just a mix of everything that comes out together and the right thinking that gets you to it and knowing, okay, this is going on, I think this could shape up well.
Right. I think I understood what you mean. Yes.
Someone had asked me about the best advice, right? So just one more best advice that I'd got from someone back in the day was, you want to not be the smartest in the room. Because when you have people smarter than you, you're learning a lot and that helps you grow as a person.
So yeah, my question is, like, obviously before entering your business, you would have been a very, amateur and like, party person, or ऐसे कि अभी मजे कर रहा हूँ life में, and also Nottingham वाले examples I thought. But then when you were entering into this business, your dad ever think यार इसको पैसे क्यों दूँ मैं धंधा करने के लिए? Credibility देखो इसकी, मतलब I mean, he ever had a second thought? मतलब it happens, no? Your dad is like, ये तो सिर्फ party करेगा तो धंधे में कैसे?
Valid question.
So building a credibility wasn't like, you had to work your ass off for it, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Like, see, at the end of the day, okay, my first business venture, like, okay, so it started, my first business happened after Midas. So he saw the way I worked at Midas, the way I manage things at Midas. He saw me spend time in the incubation phase. He saw me do small activities and make money. Like even before taking money from him, I did events out here, like cricket tournaments I organized and things and stuff. Just so he understood, okay, thoda serious ho gaya, abhi karega. And then he trusted me, gave it to me. Over time, he got that trust in me that, okay, he has matured as a person, and I don't think I'm still as mature as I should be for my age even today. But life happens and it teaches you lessons. It shows you how to get things done, and as Indians, I believe we are all jugadus, and I am a pure jugadu. Kuch bhi karke main, what I want, I'll get things done. So he's seen that side of me.
Thank you so much.
So, how do you define success for yourself?
See, again, success is a very vague term to define, because, okay, today I've set these two goals that once I reach here, I think I'm successful. But we humans are greedy. Once you reach those goals, you set up 5 other goals already. So, I would say I believe in celebrating small wins. So, okay, my target is to achieve these 3 things. ये week में अगर मैंने ये किया, it's a win for me. I'll celebrate that and then again move on from that. Like, and again, don't take too much success to your head. Always stay grounded.
So my question is कि आप कंटिन्यूसली फेल हो रहे हैं कुछ बिजनेसेस में, ऑल्सो एक आपके पास सॉलिड फैमिली बिजनेस है जो अच्छा फंक्शन कर रहा है, तो वो ड्राइव कहाँ से आती है कि अब मेरे को फिर से नया करना है आगे?
फेल तो एक ही बिजनेस में हुआ यार.
बट स्टिल उसके बाद भी आप नए बिजनेसेस कर रहे हैं.
एक आईजीसी को तो पैसा कमा के बेच दिया कंपनी को, तो सक्सेस हुआ ना.
नॉट जस्ट एज अ फेलियर, बट ड्राइव कहाँ से आती है?
मतलब मैं कंफ्यूज हो गया कि कंटिन्यूसली फेल कर. Okay, jokes aside, but I think I failed only in Sportinder. I wouldn't take that as a failure. As I mentioned earlier, I take that as a major learning curve of my life. And that drive just comes from within. I've been raised in a business family. So I've always, since childhood, seen my mom, dad, grandfather, sister, everyone have been entrepreneurs. So bachpan se I've just seen how you work, how you get things done, and ideas aate, embrace them yaar. Ke don't waste time just thinking कि ये idea है, इसको करूँ कि नहीं करूँ. Just fucking take it.
But आपको कभी ऐसा feel नहीं होता कि हाँ I have had enough, इतना तो सही है ऐसा?
ना यार, 30 की एज में satisfaction किधर से आएगा? This is the age to be aspirational and get that drive in your system.
What is one skill you are yet to or want to acquire?
One skill I want to acquire. A lot of that when I think of it right now, a lot of things are flashing in my system. But one major skill set that I'd want is know when to take that little break or gap also. Just don't keep burning yourself out. And I burn myself a lot at times. Like there are 4 months I won't realize that I'm working 14-15 hours a day. 3 महीने के बाद one day I'm sitting free at office and I just realized that damn, what was I doing last 3 months that I had no time to myself. So knowing when to switch on, switch off even more, like I think I'm pretty decent at switching on, switching off, but I'd want to ace that even better yet. And second thing would be, I want to try meditating. I can't even meditate for a minute because I sit with my eyes shut and my mind just keeps flashing multiple things. Like I feel tension when I shut my eyes like that.
We need the music to keep it quiet.
Maybe.
Who are you to yourself?
Why are you getting into transcend zone, bro? Who are you to yourself? Bold. At times I honestly feel that I'm just probably wearing a mask of being someone who I may not be. And am I who I actually am? I honestly don't know. But
imposter syndrome.
maybe. Like, I feel all of us are wearing masks and we are just being someone based on the society probably. Like, would you do things that you're doing had the society not been there? So, I honestly don't know.
Oh.
I'm writing
I have one more question, sir. So you mentioned burnout, right?
Yeah.
So how many business people, almost like this is an open question to you guys also, like is burnout a part of the journey?
Okay, so I'll give you an answer on this. Entrepreneurship looks very glamorous. It isn't as glamorous as it looks. It's a lonely journey where you're fighting your own battles, where you are firefighting things, where you have sleepless nights. But on the outside, people are just seeing the success and they feel like, wow, it's glamorous. But I honestly don't think it is as glamorous as it looks, and I would leave that to you guys also to answer if it is that. And it's a lonely journey at times. Like, okay, in life I have tons of friends, I have a great family support, great family system, all of that. But I still feel when it comes to my business at times, I feel it is a dark and lonely journey because there are some things which only you are aware of, which is within you and you probably are sharing it with others or not, you don't know. So I'd say it is a very tricky situation and burnout is a part of it, which of course not everyone will go through a burnout. Like there are some who may just know when to cut off probably, or they are showing that they know how to cut off. But burnout would be a part of a bootstrapped entrepreneur in general. More risks and more risk you are taking. You're taking building a lot of appetite for risk out there, right? And not a lot of entrepreneurs will talk about these dark sides of entrepreneurship. You will just read and hear the glamorous bits of, okay, I sold my company for 500 million and all of that. But does anyone say that before selling my company for 500 million, I've had 3 failed businesses which went down in the drain? So there is a lot of, it's a flip side to the coin. Like,
So it's like the iceberg. खाली
yeah,
ऊपर
like
कांचा
you just
दिखता
see
है.
the glamorous bit of entrepreneurs. You don't really see the dark and dirty side of it. No, don't let it bother you, but don't just go on the success stories of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs fail a lot more than they show their success. Even Nikhil Kamath Zero Da has had so many failed businesses before he came up with this, right? He's come up from nothing. So now you see the glamorous side, now you see his podcast where he's chilling and talking to people. But yeah, he's done various things. So every entrepreneur has had multiple failed businesses and struggles, which, like, how is a diamond born? Diamond kolsa hota hai. You pressurize it and it becomes a diamond, right? So basically, to rephrase, it is all in the management of the work. Yeah, and you know your system the best. Don't just see like, okay, this guy practices this way, so that is the right formula. There's no set formula of how you do things. You define your own formulas.
How's life after Midas and how do you look back to the experience?
Life after Midas has been, as I mentioned, Midas was a game changer for me. It made me a lot more mature, a lot more practical, rational and all of that. And I knew how to deal with a lot of things. I figured how to see the real life scenarios before I step out in the big bad world. I saw a few glimpses here, how people grill you, how people can do whatever, but it makes you stronger. So life has changed a 360 after Midas for me at least.
And how do you look back? Like, do you miss those days? Or?
You see me here, I'm a happy person. So I happily come back to Midas because I consider this place to be a game changer in my life. So I will give it back when I have to.
Yeah, so just the last question. So I just wanted to ask regarding the IGC, the Indian Human Club, how do you know the business is sellable and who
are the people who buys these companies like this, and then why did you sell IGC?
How do you know a business is sellable is when you know your products are doing well in the market, they are selling, you have an annual turnover of XYZ as per the investors want, and when you're hitting the numbers, there are people who are going to run behind you to invest in your company. Now it's on you if you want to sell the entire business and take an exit, or you want to sell a part of it, just take funding from people and still be the one running the business. Now that is on you of what your business is and how you want to do it. I wouldn't personally want someone to invest in my business and me becoming a slave to them. So I took an exit out there.
You all have seen the entire episode with Divyang, and let me tell you, it was enriching and so inspiring. At 30, this boy has really learnt life. I'm so glad that you've been a part of this entire episode till the end. Divyang has left us inspired, and today I feel that we are so proud to call him our student. His story really talked about perseverance, showing up, really learning by doing, and especially the self-belief that he carries. I wish him nothing but the best. But before that, before signing off, please subscribe to our channel to understand more about these stories, these entrepreneurial stories that can inspire you and really get the best of you. Thank you very much and hope to see you soon.